Hey Tackle Warehouse fans, Mike Iaconelli here talking about some of the great new product here for ICAST 2021. And man, I've got one that I've been waiting a long time for right here in my right hand. Of course, everyone knows about the Missile Mini Flip Jig. I won the 2014 Bassmaster Elite on the Delaware River with that jig. And when you're flipping and pitching, there's a time and a place for a smaller, compact jig. Now, working with Missile Jigs, we've created the Missile Mini Swim Jig for those times when you want a smaller, more compact swim jig. You know, those times are easy. When the fishing's tough, when there's a lot of fishing pressure, when there's a cold front, when the water's clear, but especially when your forage is smaller, that's when you're going to want this mini swim jig. Let me show you some of the great features and benefits that we created on this thing. The first one is the head design, and this is the key feature of the Missile Jigs mini swim jig. If you look at it, it's what I call a modified banana head, okay? And if you look at it, it sort of has that curved banana shape to it. Very flat bottom that starts to taper into a point with a curved banana shape. And what that's going to give this jig, it's going to give this jig a little rock or shimmy on the swim, left to right. Very unique in a swim jig. But it's also going to let this bait ride through and come through cover, right? If you think about it, that banana shape, as it hits, it'll lift out and come through clean. So it's got a very unique custom modified banana head design. I want you to really look at that line tie. And a line tie on a swim jig is critical. And this is, you ready? This is an inline line tie. Inline, straight inline with the hook. And on a swim jig, what that's going to let this bait do is get in and out of cover without hanging up. Wood, rock, grass, whatever you're fishing around, an inline line tie is key. The other thing, if you look at it, it's integrated. The line tie is actually pushed back in the head. That's going to eliminate line abrasion, stuff tangling on the eye. Okay, so it's integrated. Next thing, look at that head, and you're going to see some realistic features that we added. We added little lines for the gill plate, but what stands out is that giant eye, that really big eye spot on that mini swim jig. And that big eye becomes a focal point. I don't care if you're trying to imitate bait fish, bluegill, tilapia, even crawfish, an eye spot is a target for the fish. So it's a great little bullseye. You know, this is a critical part that a lot of people miss, and we worked really hard on this with the mini swim, and that is the fiber guard, the correct angle of the fiber guard. So 30 strand fiber guard, matching colors to the jig itself, but it's at the perfect angle. It's not too high. A high guard comes to snags great, but you can't get a hook in any fish. It's not too low. It's not going to snag all the time. It's a perfect angle where you're going to come through cover and hook up with those fish. We've got some great skirt colors, a lot of the great skirt colors from the mini flip jig, with addition to some brand new specialty colors for the mini swim jig. And then last but not least, I want to show you, I love fishing it with a swim bait, a little swim bait trailer. I love it with a little crawl trailer, but I'm going to take this crawl trailer off. It's hard to get off, but I'm going to show you one last feature of this jig head, which is a awesome keeper guard on it. So when you thread that plastic on, whether it's a crawl or a swim bait, that little keeper peg is going to keep that soft plastic on there. Last but not least, I want to mention that a lot of swim jigs out there use standard hooks. They'll go to a hook company and use whatever hook they have. The Missile Jigs Mini Swim Jig has a custom VMC hook that we designed to fit this jig. This is not a hook that's already available. This is a hook that we built to fit the jig, and it's a perfect gauge. It's stout, it's not too stout, it's light enough that you can finesse, so it's a great gauge of hook, custom designed for this jig. Listen to me, when you want a smaller, more compact swim jig, and there's not any out there already, get you a Missile Jigs Mini Swim, just like the Mini Flip. It's going to be the perfect jig when you need a smaller bait, tough fishing. It's going to put a lot of fish in the boat. Brand new Missile Jigs Mini Swim here at ICAST 2021. It's going to be available at Tackle Warehouse for pre-order right now.